So I just went for a walk. I just went for like a walk around the block. Normally, I won't do walking or cardio until like the end of my morning routine, but I think switching it up is important. I think varying things up, kind of having variety in your routine. We need a balance between structure and spontaneity. We're not robots, right? We're human beings. We can have the best routine in the world, but eventually we're going to get bored of it. We're going to get bored of doing the exact same thing at the exact same time every single day. So I think it's important to be able to adjust and flow and say, like, okay, I normally do XYZ, but maybe I want to do the last thing first today. I usually walk at the end of my routine, but today I just got up and I went straight outside and walked. Maybe you meditate for like 20 minutes, 10 minutes, but maybe it's like, okay, today I just want to do like 30 seconds. I just want to do a couple of breaths. Maybe you try and read a book. I'll try and read a little bit, but maybe it's like, I'll just read like a paragraph. I'll just read one page, right? Maybe I won't even read at all. Maybe instead of doing a whole like stretching routine or whatever in the morning, I'll just do like a couple of stretches, or you just kind of integrate it. You just kind of find ways to flow and adapt based on the rhythm of the day, based on how you're feeling. Some days you're just genuinely not feeling it, and yeah, of course those days you still want to do it, right? Discipline is when you're doing things anyways, regardless of how you feel about it, regardless of if you have motivation or not. But it's also important to just know when to adjust, when to pivot, when to say no. It's okay to say no sometimes. No, not right now. Like today, I'm not doing my fasted incline walk, even though I've been doing it the past 3 days, because I'm just listening to my body and I'm allowing my body to have a break, allowing my muscles, especially my legs, because I just hit legs earlier this week, just allowing a full day for them to fully recover, really, and just being okay with that. That doesn't mean that I failed, because in the past I used to be very like rigid, very dogmatic about it, and it's like if I put all these things in my calendar, if I said I'm going to do my morning routine in this order at this time, I have to do everything exactly the way I said I was going to do, otherwise I'm a failure, right? I would beat myself up, and that would create like shame and guilt and tension, which would actually make it harder to stick to the routine, because the routine is now unenjoyable. The whole process now becomes unenjoyable because it's some rigid dogmatic thing that if you don't stick to it, you're imperfect, you're a failure, you've ruined your whole progress, when really that's not true at all. Like just because you happen to get 7,000 steps one day instead of saying you were going to get 10 to 12,000, like that doesn't mean anything. That's not a big deal. Just because you may have overeaten last night or eaten more than you usually do, that doesn't mean all your progress is all of a sudden gone, right? A lot of times that food will go to your muscles anyways, because your muscles have lost a bunch of carbs, a bunch of glycogen. And so a lot of that food will just go to your muscles. It won't even be stored as fat, or you'll naturally start moving more because you have more energy from the food. So you're just going to burn calories that way. So it's like you didn't really have anything to worry about. Overall, you're still in a net calorie deficit, but you were just beating yourself up in your head because you set this perfect standard for yourself, and that you have to always be hitting the mark, and you always have to be like giving 100% at all times. Like we can't have this black or white, all or nothing mentality. Sometimes it really is just all or something. Some days you don't have as much energy to give. You can't be as like dialed in on certain days, and that's okay. The point is you keep showing up. That's what consistency is, regardless of how much energy you have, regardless of how much motivation or discipline that you're feeling. You keep showing up, you keep doing at least something, you keep taking at least one step forward every single day. And some days you might not even take a step forward, but you at least don't take a step backwards. And hey, let's say maybe you did take some step backwards. Even that is fine. You don't beat yourself up. You don't think about yourself as a failure. You just realize, hey, this is part of the process. I'm gonna get back up. I'm gonna dust myself off, and I'm just gonna keep moving forward to the next day. That's life. That's the journey. With weight loss, with building a business, with any goal that you have, getting your degree, building a YouTube channel, whatever it might be, learning a new language. Like there are gonna be good days and there are gonna be bad days. That's just how life is, right? You fall down 7 times, but you stand up 8 times. You just keep going. You keep moving forward. That's how you win. That's how you grow. In fact, that's the only way to grow. So The point is today, just let go of perfectionism. That's kind of the message to myself, and that's my message to you as well. Let go of perfectionism, let go of this need for everything to fall into exact place every single day. All these like influencer routines you see online, they're not real. You know, what I eat in a day, what I do in a day, it's like that's not their daily life. That day was good, or that day was recorded and planned out in advance. But not every day is going to be like that, because we're human beings. There's going to be ups and there's going to be downs. And the people who are most successful are the ones that can navigate those ups and downs successfully without getting too emotionally up and down, right? Not getting too high, not getting too low, just staying even keeled, enjoying the wins, celebrating the wins. And then when you do have a setback, taking that as failure, taking that as feedback, or not taking that as failure, but taking that as feedback, taking that as a lesson, as a learning experience, right? Failure doesn't exist, feedback does. I genuinely believe that. So if you couldn't tell, I had a bit more to eat yesterday, so I was kind of thinking about that. Like I realized that I was in this perfectionism mindset. If I ate over my set calorie amount, I would beat myself up, I would get angry, but that creates more tension, more shame, more guilt, which thus leads you to be more likely to just eat more, or chase dopamine in some way just to like get rid of those negative feelings and feel better. But then you feel even more shame and guilt because you're like, oh man, now I just like slipped even harder, I relapsed even more, whatever. And it's like that creates a negative cycle. So you break that loop by forgiving yourself, genuinely forgiving yourself, letting go of perfectionism, just allowing yourself to just be. Allow yourself to just be. You're not perfect and you don't need to be perfect. To achieve anything in life, no, you don't need to be perfect. Nobody has ever been perfect at all at any single time in human history. Yet they've still accomplished so many amazing things. So yeah, that's my message today. Allow yourself to just be. Go with the flow, adapt, pivot when needed to, and just trust your intuition, trust yourself. If you need to take a break, you need to move less and eat more that day, do it. And then if the next day you feel better, you want to move more and eat less, okay, do it. Trust yourself and your intuition. That's going to take you farther than any rigid dogmatic routine ever could.